I will never sleep again. I will never sleep again.
This is Never Sleep Again.
Your source for sci-fi and horror movie reviews.
I'm Jonathan,
And I'm Veronica.
and the movie we're going to review today is The Pale Blue Eye.
Yes. So this is a movie we discovered on Netflix. We hadn't heard of it, right? Did you hear about it in
I
advance?
saw one trailer for it in advance.
Oh, okay.
I didn't really realize from that trailer that it was going to be a movie that's pretty much about Edgar Allan Poe at some point in his life, early in his life, that is. I didn't gather all that from the trailer, but then when I read about that, had to check it out. We like Edgar Allan Poe.
Yeah.
Edgar Allan Poe movies and
Right.
stories and whatnot. So we decided to give it a look. Oh, also, we hope that you give us a warm welcome back after a long break.
Yes.
But we're back in
We're
2023. We're going to try to stay more consistent with the reviews. We miss you and we love you.
Yep.
So
Don't forget to hit that
Yeah, hit that-
notification bell, subscribe, and give us a like.
that's right.
So yes, The Pale Blue Eye. Interesting movie. Like I said, I hadn't heard anything about it, but
Right.
basically it's just covering Edgar Allan Poe's time at West Point. So, and apparently he was involved in a murder mystery.
Right. Well, in this movie, in real life, there is they say there's no evidence that he ever did any real detective work or solved any murders or anything like that, but the movie goes off of a certain type of lore that he did in fact help to solve a murder, and this movie is about that, set in 1830.
Yeah.
And so, go watch the movie. As we
Yeah.
always say, go watch the movie. Don't just sit here and take a review from us or from anybody else for that matter. Go see a movie for yourself if you want to get all the synopsis. That's as much as the synopsis that we're going to do today. So, well, I guess we're going to get right into what we liked about it,
Yeah.
what we didn't like about it.
What worked for us?
So,
What are some of the things that worked for you involving this movie?
well, I gotta go with the actors. I liked the entire cast. I'm just gonna say that the entire cast in this movie was great. They really kept you invested in the movie. Two people that stood out to me the most, not just because they're the two main stars. It would have to be Christian Bale as the detective and Harry Mellings as Edgar Allan Poe. I gotta say, I know Harry Mellings is good, but I wasn't. I went in with no expectations about him, about Edgar Allan Poe. I want to say that, but he surprised me with Edgar Allan Poe. Just he gave this really charismatic
You really
performance.
did. Yeah, I wasn't expecting that.
Right, I wasn't expecting the voice.
Yeah.
The accent that he's using to when he's portraying Edgar Allan Poe, and he's acting alongside mostly Christian Bale, and that's saying a lot. And both of them were great, but he took me by surprise with Edgar Allan Poe, his take on it. I kind of meant to say this a little bit earlier. I was eating when we were watching this. And just out of nowhere, they're opening up a man's chest during an autopsy. It gets kind of gory, so you're gonna see a little bit of people holding internal organs,
Right.
and it's bloody.
And the effects are pretty good, so it looks kind of realistic.
Right. There's elements of it that are very occult. And so if that's not really your thing or whatnot, I will say that the movie isn't just over the top with the gore or
Right.
whatnot. They take the time to make things look real. But I was in the middle of eating. I had food in my mouth.
Yes, you did.
while they were opening up that man's chest. And they took the time to make all the little sound effects and the noises to make it sound like they were really performing an autopsy. And even when they're not showing you the internal organs and whatnot, you can still hear the sound effects. At one point, they're performing an autopsy with the body inside of the tub, and you can hear all the wet sounds and scraping. So
if you have a strong stomach,
right,
then, go for it.
That's fine. See, I would have been fine if I wasn't eating. Like, if I wasn't fine, I was glad I was able. After that, I just finished eating quickly, so I can just go ahead and enjoy the movies. I just wanted to put that out there.
Yes. Anything else that worked for you with the movie?
Yes, atmosphere. The atmosphere of the movie, it's great. It's kind of spooky, and they've got this cool color scheme, just almost like for the namesake of the movie. They make it kind of pale blue. Yeah, they got kind of the pale blue backdrop to it, and just each scene, you just get to really take in the scene. Like, there's this big graveyard. It's just a big graveyard, and there's snow on the ground, and the camera, it's getting a wide view of it while focusing on the characters still, and you can see behind them a wide view. At some point, somebody's going through a hallway, and the camera's focusing on the dark rooms, like on either side of the person going through the hallway. I like stuff like that, so it's cool.
Yeah, awesome.
What did you like?
Well, one of the things I enjoyed was just the setting, the time it was set in. I do enjoy a good period piece every now and then, and I love that this one was right up our alley, so it really worked out that way. I enjoy seeing how the directors and filmmakers can put together the sets and the costumes, and even the way the actors will portray themselves and their manner of speech to try to realistically portray a time period. I just love all that stuff.
Yeah, they really did really good with the details, the coats,
right?
The uniforms. I like all that. You'll be able, if you appreciate that, you'll just be able to take all of it in.
Right. So I thought that was cool. Just like the characters and the cast, the ensemble. So once again, I wasn't really aware of this movie. I didn't have any prior knowledge, so I was surprised to see certain faces. So we had Christian Bale, we had Gillian Anderson. Like, anybody who knows Gillian Anderson loves, and if you love X-Files, well,
I gotta add, I didn't see any of them in the trailers that I saw.
Yeah, okay.
So, and I forgot that she was in it after we saw it, because she disappeared right into the role. She
did, yeah.
And I didn't know who was going to be in this movie. I was glad to see it. Yeah. I was glad to be surprised by all these characters.
I had to do a double take because I was like, is that her? I don't know. Let me look at the cast. So, yeah, definitely her. Harry Melling, as we mentioned. Charlotte Gainsbourg. Dudley. Yep.
Dudley,
and others. Peter Pettigrew.
Peter Pettigrew, yeah.
From Harry Potter.
So Dudley and Peter Pettigrew are in this movie.
But yeah, so a little reunion of Harry Potter castmates. So I enjoyed seeing them all in this movie, and it helped add to the experience for me. There were a bunch of character actors. Like, everyone had their own personality. As far as Edgar Allan Poe goes, I kind of feel like they went out of their way to make him a little more eccentric than perhaps he actually was. That took some getting used to for me, but again, the actor did such a good job.
It'll grow on you. He'll grow on you.
That I ended up actually really enjoying that character. Another thing I really liked was the relationship between Edgar Allan Poe and Augustus Lander, who was Christian Bale's character. He was the inspector. He was there to kind of get to the bottom of this murder mystery.
Right.
And he was there for, it seemed like, a couple of months, and he and Edgar Allan Poe actually grew close and developed a really fond bond, and a close bond, friendship. It was believable. And it made me sad at the end. I know it made you sad at the end.
Oh, yeah, that was rough.
So, yeah, the end was kind of sad. They had some moments, some really emotional moments, tearful. And Yeah, I really felt bad for the characters at that time, but that helped you to see how close that they had grown.
Yeah, they really took the time to build that friendship and make it believable. So it didn't feel out of place when so at the end of the movie it's sad and they're sharing a tearful goodbye to each other. You really believe that this is a hard conversation for them to have. And yeah.
Absolutely. But that was, pretty much the gist. It was a pretty enjoyable movie to me. Now let's talk about some of the things that didn't quite work for us.
Okay.
What about you?
Okay, so you mentioned the end of the movie being sad.
Yes.
So the ending of the movie is sad. So by the time you get to by the time you get to the end of the movie, it's sad. It's a long movie. It's a long movie.
Yes.
That's probably the only thing that I didn't really care about with the movie, that I didn't really care for with the movie, is that the movie was so long. It's a little over 2 hours long. I feel like they could have made the same points they made, even with the friendship between Poe and Landor.
Right.
I feel like they could have still captured that friendship. It still could have been scary. The characters still would have been great. I feel like they would have. I feel like they could have made all those same great points in less time, and they probably would have had the audience wanting more if the movie was shorter. Now that I think about it, this in no way makes me feel like the movie just was less good in any way. It was just a little bit long, and that can get boring.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. That's actually one of the points that I was going to make. It was just entirely too long. I remember pausing it, and I was like, "We're not even halfway through yet."
Yeah,
I couldn't believe it. It was lengthy, and definitely some of the scenes could have been cut. They could have left a bunch out. They added a bunch of filler. Although I understand a lot of it could have been necessary, but like with you, I feel like they could have told the same story just in a shorter amount of time. They were just really taking their time, allowing the audience to soak it all in. And I didn't feel like that was necessary.
No.
It made it feel really slow at times.
It was slow.
Yeah, it was a pretty slow movie, especially at the beginning. But anything else that didn't quite work for you?
That was it.
That
was it. Yeah, that was the only thing.
Okay.
That was the only thing that it really worked for me.
Wow. Okay. Well, I had a few other things besides the length of the movie. I am not really the biggest fan of murder mysteries. I will watch them, and but they just always seem to drag out for me.
Yeah.
Even if there's some action sprinkled in there. It's just, I'm over it. I'm ready for the end of the movie.
Okay,
just
so that makes
give me the big
sense.
reveal.
That makes sense to why my only real complaint was the movie being too long. Because I love those murder mysteries.
I know you do.
I'm sorry. It's a great whodunit. I'm there. I'm simple in that way.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I had one more, just kind of a minor complaint. Usually I do appreciate it when a movie just jumps right in into the story, and you get to learn more about characters and the plot. But I would have liked if they gave us a little bit more of a glimpse into the main character's backstory, Augustus's backstory.
That would have been cool.
Yeah, maybe even just like a scene or two. We could see what he's, him going about his day. Maybe people he interacts with, what he's doing at home. We do get flashes as the movie progresses of an incident that happens, but we still don't really know what this man's life really was like. So I would have liked a little bit more.
He just kind of shows up.
Yeah.
He just kind of shows up, and everybody's just like, yep, He's the greatest detective.
He's the I know, yeah. That's the other thing. He's the greatest detective.
He just shows up.
They need his help.
Yep.
And yeah, so.
But it's great that they get right to the action too. Like in my opinion, with it.
Well, they get right to the story. They get right to the plot. I don't know about the action.
Okay, well,
a little slow.
Because what I mean by action is just, remember that part I was saying earlier about the gore and going through a man's chest? That immediately happens.
It does.
That immediately happens. So you're not bored right out of the gate. It's the middle that takes up all the space with this movie.
Yeah, I'd have to agree. Although for me, just because it's probably just because I'm not a fan of whodunit mysteries.
Right.
Yeah, it just felt slow.
And if you like whodunit, this doesn't disappoint.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you would enjoy this one. So that's really my 2 cents.
Yeah.
I didn't have a whole lot to complain about the movie. I think it was directed well, and. Yeah.
Well, now it's that time.
It is that time.
We gotta give it a rating.
Yes.
So, you want to go first?
Okay. I feel like my standard for our rating system is a bit high.
Okay.
There's a place I'd like to put it, but I don't think that would be fair to other movies that I feel are more deserving of a certain category. I'm going to have to go with mediocre. Stream it. Yeah.
Okay.
Stream it. Although it was a good movie, I don't feel like you would necessarily get the most bang out of your buck if you went and paid full price for it at the theater. Again, it was a long movie. It felt slow for me for a large portion of the movie. I feel like maybe if they cut down on some of the scenes, shortened the length a bit, maybe gave us a little more action, because it doesn't start to ramp up until the end, really, or like the
it
last
does pick
quarter of the movie. And if they had done those things. And again, also maybe told the story a little bit better to give us a little more backstory on Augustus at the beginning, I would say, sure, full price, go to the theater. But especially because of the length of it, I'm just like, stay home, relax, pause it if you need to, go to the bathroom, grab a snack, take a nap, turn it back on and finish it. So yeah, stream it.
Yeah. Okay, I was not expecting that rating from you.
Really? Okay.
Right. I was not. My rating is the same.
Oh.
Stream it.
Okay. I thought you were going to go higher.
Stream it. Well, when you put it, you have to think about it in the context of a movie theater. This is not something that you would be happy about sitting there for 2 hours in a movie theater. You'd probably fall asleep. It's the length of the movie that makes me go, well, no, I wouldn't really want to see this at the box office. We can pause it here,
yeah, exactly,
for a bathroom break, which is why we paused it. It's a long movie, so if it was a little bit shorter, I would say either release day or worth the money, but stream it. And luckily for you, they can stream it.
Yeah,
this is
exactly.
Netflix, so it's easy enough. It's a movie, so I'll put it this way. So this is a little bit better than just saying stream it. It's one of those movies that's worth getting Netflix for.
Oh,
it's why I would say, like, if Netflix releases more movies like this, this makes Netflix worth your money.
Right. Yeah, I've heard some complaints about how they feel like the content is kind of limited on Netflix now, but I'd have to agree with you. Yeah, keep releasing more movies like this, Netflix.
With this.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's all for this review. And we hope we were able to share some things with you that will pique your interest so you can go out there, watch the movie. If you have already seen it, let us know what your thoughts were. Right?
Yeah, let us know if you ever think that we're bugging with our rating. Just let us know in the comments.
Yeah, Absolutely. So we thank you for sticking around. We hope to see you again. And we'll have more movie reviews out for you every week. And also, don't forget to check us out on the podcast side. We have our Theremin Chronicles podcast. And we're available on all major podcast platforms and minor podcast platforms. You can find us at the Theremin Chronicles. And we hope to see you over there as well.
Well, this has been Never Sleep Again. I'm Jonathan.
And I'm Veronica.
Stay awake.
We'll never sleep again. I will never sleep again.
And it's the pale blue eye.
I know.
I was thinking the pale blue horse. Okay, ready? 5. Oh man,
You didn't need to say that. Woo! The pale blue horse. Good Lord.
the pale
Okay.
blue eye.